permanente à la fraude. Qu'en pense une star du journalisme américain comme Dan Rather? Celui qui fut le présentateur vedette du journal de CBS pendant 24 ans continue d'animer des émissions d'information en toute indépendance. À 80 ans, il a toujours un énorme succès.
This we have to understand about a company like Goldman Sachs and about Wall Street in general. It is gambling. It is a big casino. But, this is very important, at the best casinos, you walk in the door, you know you're gambling. However, you have confidence that the casino will abide by the casino rules. No dealing from the bottom of the deck. No having cards up the sleeve. The roulette wheel is an honest roulette wheel. It's gambling, but if there's such a phrase as honest gambling, you know the rules, you know the risks, you know the dice were loaded, you know the roulette wheel was fixed. However, up to and including the time you and I are talking here, I think there's been only one really big Wall Street operator who's been brought to justice on criminal charges. Under our law and our regulations, they've been brought up under civil charges, so they pay a fine. The fine looks big in the paper. X firm pays $100 million. Chump change to these guys. As long as they can only suffer monetary losses, I fear they'll continue to do it. But if you start sending some to prison, and legitimately so, and our government, both Republican and Democratic now, our governments have a lot to answer for. It's inelegant to say so, but what's developed in the United States of America, not this country alone, but it has developed here, is that big government is in bed with very big business, very big corporations, huge international conglomerate corporations, including but not limited to banks. So they're in bed with one another. The big corporations make huge campaign contributions. Footnote, our last presidential campaign, when all is said and done, cost about $2 billion. That's with a B, $2 billion. So while some people give to political campaigns altruistically for the right reasons, by and large, the people who give the money to the politicians to run their election campaigns expect to get something.
Sont-ils les maîtres du monde? Non, ils sont juste les meilleurs composants d'un explosif assez puissant pour faire imploser le système. Pour évaluer ce danger mondial, il fallait trouver un homme qui ait suffisamment de recul. Ancien correspondant de guerre, lauréat du prix Pulitzer, Chris Hedges est l'un des rares intellectuels américains à manifester contre les dérives des grandes banques. Il y a quelques années, il a même démissionné du New York Times pour pouvoir mener plus librement ses enquêtes. Sa vision du monde s'étend bien au-delà de la finance.
What is specific about Goldman Sachs?
Because partners at Goldman Sachs are pushed out of the institution at a fairly young age. They gravitate into the political system. So there are a huge number of former partners, even heads of Goldman Sachs, who have achieved direct political power, and really it is fair to say that it is impossible in this country to vote against the interests of Goldman Sachs.
How big is the power of Goldman Sachs?
Well, Goldman Sachs has the power to bring down economies, as they have in Greece. It's all about bond ratings. When they declare a particular government insolvent, the consequences are drastic because they force the government, in order to continue to be able to borrow money, to impose the kind of austerity measures that have crippled Greek society and which are crippling the United States. we're all hostage to this game of speculation.
You have seen the Senate hearing. What do you think?
Political theater. As soon as the lights go out and the cameras leave, these people all go to lunch. Nobody achieves political power in this country without the backing of the financial sector. Since the collapse of 2008, it is that these institutions are untouchable. We can't do anything to stop them. They have looted the U.S. Treasury and are engaging in the same kind of speculation, casino capitalism that they engaged in before the bubble deflated, wiping out $17 trillion in wages and savings of small shareholders and ordinary Americans. These people are criminals. In the 17th century, speculators were hung. And here, every single institution, from the press to universities, to the courts, to the legislative bodies, to the executive branch of government, dance to the tune that they play. And there's absolutely no way that ordinary citizens can fight back. There is no mechanism within the formal structures of power by which we can fight back. We live not in a democracy, but what the political philosopher Sheldon Wolin calls a system of inverted totalitarianism. And by that he means it's not classical totalitarianism. It doesn't revolve around a demagogue or a charismatic leader, but finds its expression in the anonymity of the corporate state. We're being destroyed financially, morally, politically, and economically. And the institutions that do it, and maybe the Crown institution that is doing it, is Goldman Sachs. They know no limits. They turn everything into a commodity that they exploit until exhaustion or collapse, which is why the environmental crisis is intimately twinned with the economic crisis. The death of the American empire is not a tragedy. It's probably a good thing. It's just how we're dying that is so frightening, because we're lashing out like a wounded animal. And, empires, the tyranny empires impose abroad, they always bring home. They always impose at home. Thucydides and Plutarch wrote about that in ancient Athens. Athenian democracy was slaughtered by the Athenians, and we're doing exactly the same thing. Civilizations from Easter Island to the Ottoman Empire to collapse of Imperial Russia, they always exhaust their own potential and their own resources. The danger is that this time it's global. We're bringing the whole planet down with us. There is nowhere left to migrate to.